Welcome to Fiscal Integrity Group, your ticket to bookkeeping greatness. Hello and welcome to our Knowledge Nugget on expanding your skill level. I'm Herb Holst. Do you feel like you may have plateaued in your bookkeeping and your bookkeeping skills, and that there's more to bookkeeping than you currently are aware of and able to handle? And do you know what you're doing? Maybe you are a data entry person and you just don't understand what it is you're doing, even though you're doing it and it seems to be going along well, and you don't know why it is you're doing things. Consider expanding your skill level. It'll make your job a lot easier in a number of ways. It'll make you proactive for sure in taking care of things that may come at you from left field, as I've just mentioned, and to be able to deal with them without having to stress too much over it or to take the time to do the research on doing so. It'll also position you to perhaps rise within your company if you are a staff bookkeeper and perhaps take on more responsibilities and the money to go with it. And it also may position you to take the next step in your bookkeeping career, whether that's going alone as a freelancer or a contract bookkeeper, what have you. Now, a lot of it's going to depend on where you're starting from as you look to expand your skills, what your current skill level is, where you're at, what kind of expansion you wish to undertake, whether it's specifically to take on certain kinds of tasks like payroll or inventory or that kind of thing. Regardless, a lot of it depends on where you are at this point in time. Expanding your knowledge, and especially when it comes to bookkeeping, will help with job satisfaction. There's nothing more frustrating than running into obstacles all the time and not having a clue on what to do with them. If you round out your skills as a bookkeeper to ultimately become a full cycle bookkeeper, that can only help your cause. And it may also help your potential career choices as well, and the opportunities that may come your way that you're able to take advantage of. The added bonus will hopefully at the end of it all be more money in your pocket as well. So how do you go about expanding your skill levels? Most of it is common sense, but there may be reasons why you select certain things to undertake to expand your skills and what order you take them in, the choices and the order. Anyways, consider the following. The start point would be for you to take a basic bookkeeping course. You'd think that'd be fairly logical and straightforward, but don't forget, in a lot of jurisdictions, licensing or regulation of bookkeepers doesn't exist, so basically anybody can call themselves a bookkeeper, when indeed they may just be a data entry person. So if this applies to you, your start point would be to certainly take a basic bookkeeping course. Now, a lot of the colleges and business schools offer very good courses in this regard, and it lays down the foundation for you to expand your skills and be a more proficient bookkeeper. Pick a program and get good at it. There's a lot of very good accounting programs out there like QuickBooks, Sage 50, Xero, and the like. And there's also a lot of proprietary programs that deal with specific industries or businesses. The trick is to take one and become very good at it. Be very proficient at it, know it inside out, and certainly know how to make it work for the particular business or businesses that you're using it for. Once you've done that, you can maybe pick a second one and just expand your knowledge and skill level that way, and however many you need in order to perform what you want to do. Somebody like a freelancer or a contract bookkeeper would likely need to be proficient in at least a couple of them so that they have a greater range of customers that they can bring in. Attend conferences. Here in Canada, we have an organization for bookkeepers called the IPBC, Institute for Professional Bookkeepers of Canada. And they offer conferences once a year. They mix it up and offer it in various locations so that people can attend, perhaps even if it's only every other or every third one. But notwithstanding, they'll bring in a lot of keynote people, including those that put out the bookkeeping programs, the accounting programs, but also others that have information that would be of use to bookkeepers. And that allows bookkeepers to keep up to date and to further their knowledge and thus their skill level. Take courses related to the business you are doing the books for. Now, this one kind of makes sense as well, but think about it. If you know more about the business you're doing the books for, it should make it easier for you to do the books for the business. It's sort of cause and effect. If you are familiar with the business, once you've taken some courses, then it just makes it easier to anticipate the kinds of transactions that the business is going to be doing, how to deal with them, and how to record them properly for the business.
Obtain real-world knowledge. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about that. You can either go through the School of Hard Knocks, which a lot of you maybe have done. In other words, you basically learn on the fly. You have to be on the ground running anyways, and something new comes at you and you got to learn it the hard way. It does work, but it certainly can make for some hectic and scary times, especially if you got deadlines looming for things like remittances, and as such, it just makes for a very, very uncomfortable situation. There's also information out there, much like what you're looking at right now. In other words, our knowledge nuggets, which is a bit of a shameless self-promotion, but it stands to reason that if you find these kinds of courses or knowledge nuggets or webinars or workshops, it's worth looking into them as well, because they may be able to provide you with information that will indeed expand your skill level as well. Now, moving forward, join organizations. I've already mentioned the IPBC here in Canada. There may be others in your jurisdiction or your area that might be worth joining. And this will indeed also give you access to additional information that can up your skill level as well. It's all about info gathering, learning new stuff, being able to stay current, and then offer that to your clients or your boss or whatever the situation you find yourself in. Become a contractor or a freelancer. Now, this is the big be-all and end-all for a lot of bookkeeping, in that it allows you to be in business for yourself as a bookkeeper. In other words, you offer your services to many businesses. They may all be in the same discipline or type of business, or they may be varied and all over the map. Depending on how over the map they are, will determine how you need to expand your skill level in order to be able to do the books for all of these varied kinds of businesses. Notwithstanding, a good contractor or freelancer at the top of their game is well worth striving for as a bookkeeper, and it also gives you, again, that choice of starting up your own business. Specialize in aspects of bookkeeping and offer those services to others. In other words, these are specialties that you can learn, become good at, proficient at, and then go out and find companies that are looking for those kinds of specialties and the people that can actually work that for their business, such that it makes them more profitable as well. So if you're the expert, you can go out there. It's like a specialist in the medical profession. You are now the specialist in the bookkeeping profession. Some specialties include things like payroll. Become a payroll specialist. A lot of bookkeepers have done that, and they've become very good at payroll. And payroll does require a fair degree of skill and diligence. Again, remittances have to be done on time. You cannot disregard the importance of payroll. People depend on their payroll, and it has to be done right. Governments really don't look too kindly upon books that are poorly done when it comes to payroll. It's very, very important. Inventory. Inventory is a tough one to manage, especially for a company that has a lot of products or items that they have up for sale or whatever. It needs to be brought in, it needs to be shipped out, and it needs to be accurately reflected in the books at any given time. The bookkeeping programs do a very good job of it, but you need to be on the top of your game in order to make sure that you are on top of the inventory, or it could fall off the rails very quickly. And then you have product that's showing on the shelves but isn't actually there when you go to look, or that's on the shelves that isn't available in the books, so you don't know that you have it available for customers. Inventory is very important. Foreign exchange is another one. A lot of companies do business offshore or across border, and this requires some additional knowledge and skills in order to be able to take care of it properly. And you may be dealing with multiple governments in different jurisdictions, so you got to be up to speed on that as well. That does command also a higher fee for you, such that you should be able to make more money at it. Accounting program conversions. Sometimes companies are just not satisfied with the program they're on, or they need to convert to a different program for any one of a number of reasons. If you can do that for them, know how to pick the timing, do it properly, make sure that everything runs seamlessly through the transfer, that comes with value as well, and that's a good skill to have. Catch-up and cleanup specialists. As I said earlier, not all bookkeepers are regulated. Not all jurisdictions require that bookkeeping or bookkeepers be regulated. So here you go. There's a lot of books out there that are either poorly done, falling behind, or not done at all. So to be able to do catch-up and cleanup is a very valuable service as well. The companies need those books in place certainly for government, but also for things like shareholders and owners and the like, for the accountant in order to be able to properly file year-end taxes. And if they're not up to speed and up to par, then that's a problem. So being a catch-up and clean-up specialist has value. Project cost analysis. A lot of companies also have large projects that they need to know how they're doing. In other words, whether or not that project on an individual standalone basis is making money, losing money, or just breaking even. Being a project cost analysis specialist is a skill that allows them to do that, to be able to see their numbers and to know what they need to tweak in order to make the next project more profitable, or whether those projects or those types of projects are even worth doing at all. So a project specialist is a very, very valuable skill to have. It's one you should consider. Prepping a business for sale. Business owners should realize, if they don't already, that at some point in time they're going to want to let the business go. And not all of them have family or whatever to pass it over to. So it's a matter of preparing a business properly for sale. For the owner, they need to determine what they want the business to look like and where they want it to be when it comes time to sell. And as a bookkeeping specialist doing or prepping businesses for sale, your skills are very important too. Think about it. When a new potential owner comes down the pipe or comes in the door, what is the first thing they want to see? The numbers. Where do the numbers come from? The books. And as such, if you are good at your game, or if you're good at prepping a business for sale, those books will be ready for a prospective buyer to show the company off in its best light and to show it off accurately as well. They want to know what they're buying, and the owner wants to know what they have available to sell in terms of their business. Forensic bookkeeping, taking care of the seedier element of society or of business and enterprise, being able to find out when companies and so on are looking to scam governments, co-owners, and that sort of thing. Being able to look at a set of books and find out what's not on the up and up and make sure that that's able to be determined, and to what extent the misappropriation of money is certainly an important skill. And the list can go on. Just think about it. If there are specialties that you can become good at, if you can become skilled at them, that makes you a better bookkeeper and should relate to being able to charge a higher dollar for your services.
Regardless of how you go about expanding your skill level, every step you make and take will make you a better bookkeeper. The challenge is to be the very best that you can be. Best of luck with it. I'm Herb Holst. Thank you for watching.
Fiscal Integrity Group, your home for the advancement of bookkeeping and bookkeepers.